and also this proposal of the International Anti-Corruption Court. So first, I'm going to start with Serena Ibrahim, who is my fellow in Integrative Initiatives International, and who is actually the creator, and she founded one organization in Lebanon called Youth Against Corruption. And she also is one of the board members for the UNDC Grace Initiative. So I want to start out with you, Serena, because I know you're a very young woman involved in this agenda. And I want to know, like, now the situation in Lebanon is quite critical. The currency has lost its value almost 90%. And also we have seen some shortages of electricity, water, and some other public services. And I want to know first, like, how do you comply and how do you manage to align your work on sustainability and cities, because I know you're also very involved in the sustainability of cities. And also, how do you involve this work with the anti-corruption agenda? But also, I want to get to know more, like, why did you decide to found this organization, and why this organization of young people and young leaders in your country endorsed the creation of the International Anti-Corruption Court?
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here and very pleased to meet all of you. I have been a community girl all my life, and I have been a very active fighter for justice since I was 7 years old when I joined the Scouts movement. But for some reasons, I decided to study architecture and work in the field. My dad thought I was gonna become one of the best top 10 architects in the world, and my mom imagined the dream house that I was gonna build for the family. But luckily, life has a very beautiful way of putting you back on track and to align you again with your purpose when you lose track for a while. I come from Lebanon, a country that has been devastated by corruption. You might have heard of the Beirut explosion, the third biggest non-nuclear explosion in history that hit the Beirut port. I knew that corruption kills, but I never imagined that it can devastate or erase capital in 1 second. But maybe what you do not know is what happened to the survivors, what happened to the people who survived the Beirut explosion. Today, Lebanese citizens are suffering. They are suffering from lack of access to basic services and shortage in water, in electricity, in fuel, and medical equipments. The terrible drop in their national currency, I can say it lost more than 90% of its value, has tremendously increased poverty in the country. People are spending hours queuing in front of banks to get access to their money, to their savings, or to withdraw money. The most vulnerable population to all this is youth. Our youth are suffering a lot. Unemployment rate has never been this high. Their mental health is at risk. More than 80% are anxious, and 1 out of 4 youth in Lebanon is depressed. The ones that have jobs are spending their days jumping from one coffee shop to another just to find good internet connections because the Wi-Fi at home is very bad. The others are doing their best to leave. They are applying for jobs like crazy everywhere in any nation that would accept them, even if it doesn't match their education, or even if it doesn't match what they want in life. It's just accept anything just to leave. My parents, who have lived 15 years of civil war, has told me that even with 15 years of civil war, the situation was never this bad. The situation didn't get this bad only because of corrupt kleptocrats and national leaders who refused to do anything or to take action to save the country. It also got this bad because of the silence of the international community. We all know that our future and the future of youth resides in the hands of those who have the power today to decide what kind of future, what kind of services, what kind of quality of life we as youth will have tomorrow. But unfortunately, as it was said earlier, very little effort has been made, and not enough bold moves have been taken to progress on both the justice and corruption and anti-corruption agenda. We all know that corruption and justice are not the property of one single country. It's a transnational fight. It's a fight that has to be led globally and held locally by actors, organizations, and people who know that this is urgent and not an option anymore. It's very serious. We need really, I'm screaming today on behalf of youth, not only in Lebanon, youth that are everywhere in the world and suffering from this problem. We need bolder, fairer, and more effective prosecution of corrupt leaders in countries where the judicial system is not independent and where corruption is legalized. The proposal of having an international anti-corruption court might seem to some people impossible. But as it was said earlier as well, even if it's impossible, we have no choice but to try and push for it to happen, and push for it because we need to start. Today, we are obliged to fight for a future where people and youth don't have to pay years of their lives to survive, for a future where people don't die on hospital and outside hospital doors because governments mismanaged public resources and revenues. For a future where youth don't wake up unmotivated, don't wake up depressed, and don't wake up with no purpose. Instead, for a future for them where they can dream, they can thrive, and they can compete on international level in the fields that they love. For a future where access to justice and basic human rights is not a topic that we discuss in forums, but is a topic from the past that is already solved. To go back to your question on why I founded IACC, although I come from a different background, I founded IACC because I didn't find anyone to protect me or to speak on behalf of me or people of my generation. So I decided to follow my intuition and the internal voice and take action. I founded IACC because I wanted to prove that youth are equal partners in the fight against corruption and that there is a lot that they can offer. And I founded IACC because I wanted, most of all, to create a community of people like me who have enough humility to learn, even if it's not their field, to learn how we can stand up for what is just, how we can stand up for what is fair, the creativity to design more innovative and creative and effective anti-corruption solutions, and of course the courage, because it takes courage to break the corruption chain and stand up and say, no, it's enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Serena, for